I was told all last week that the Miami Dolphins offense was going to be the first legit test for this Kansas City Chiefs defense. I was told Tyreek Hill was going to put numbers up against our defense and expose us. Well, guess what? Another week's in the books, and the Chiefs defense wins us another game as our record moves to 7-2, headed into the bye. What we will discuss today is the game that was overseas, and I will give you my initial thoughts. With that, let's cut the chit chat and let's have some fun. Let's kick this bad boy off as we will be dissecting the Miami Dolphins and Kansas City Chiefs game. But you already know, first and foremost, after a game, I love to appreciate Chiefs Kingdom and the fan base and everyone who came in and chimed in bright and early in the morning for the live stream. It was a fun game. It was a stressful game. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. You should expect nonetheless. But as we head into a bye week, as I mentioned in my live stream, I want to do kind of a Chiefs chat Q&A for this week, and we will continue the live stream. There's no stopping there. But I want to go through Chiefs Kingdom, some of your most hot topics, questions, concerns regarding the team, and I will give you some insight in how I feel that the Kansas City Chiefs should attack the second half of the season. So you already know what to do. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Like this video, that way you do not miss out on anything coming in the future. But we are dialed into the right now, and we have a game to discuss. As the Miami Dolphins and Kansas City Chiefs didn't live up to the billing, this was supposed to be the game of the year. And I don't know if I'd go that far, but it was definitely a fun, exciting, exhilarating game, and you can thank the Kansas City Chiefs offense for that. But before we get into that, because we got a lot to discuss about the offense, let's give more praise. And we're going to focus in on the defense, because I think we've heard it all season long that how's this Chiefs defense going to kick off this year against the Detroit Lions? They passed, even though it was a loss. How are they going to do against the Jacksonville Jaguars? They passed with exhilarating colors and shut down Trevor Lawrence in that offense. And then, as that wasn't good enough, the Chargers come into town with Justin Herbert, and that was supposed to be the best offense to date. They still did their thing and shut them down. And now you go against the Miami Dolphins, the #1 offense in the league. Everyone thinks that will expose this Kansas City Chiefs defense. The Kansas City Chiefs defense did vice versa, and they showed up and balled out, and you got to give big kudos to this secondary. If you're not highlighting this secondary after the game, I do not know what you watched, because L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie, everyone came out and played. And of course, we're just going to highlight this right out the way, because this is my play of the year. What Trent McDuffie did on that forced fumble was a thing of beauty. It really was. And I think it was a full circle moment, because Peter Schrager even mentioned it as well, was the one thing the Kansas City Chiefs want to display is they want to show they can win a game and what this trade really meant and why they are better off now and in the future and why they will always be Super Bowl contenders. And Trent McDuffie, who was one of those draft picks that was traded in capital for Tyreek Hill, goes mano-a-mano with him and forces a fumble. Mike Edwards picks it up, laterals the ball to Brian Cook, and takes it to the house. I didn't even know Brian Cook could move like that. It was a thing in sight of beauty. And also, those were 3 new members of the defense that Tyreek Hill never played with. So those weren't familiar faces to him. And also, this is where you got to give Trent McDuffie big kudos, like big props, because throughout the majority of the game, L'Jarius Sneed was in coverage with Tyreek Hill. And boy, he was playing physical, he was playing aggressive, and he was giving Tyreek Hill the business. But the play before this Trent McDuffie forced fumbled, the referee or the officials from above saw an injury with L'Jarius Sneed, which may have been a concussion, so they stopped play and they pulled him off the field. And that next play was the forced fumble. And man, just how things move so quickly because you cannot pause. You got to still be playing at full level because Trent McDuffie, he was covering Jalen Waddle throughout the majority of the game. And then, hey, L'Jarius Sneed out, your task just got bigger with Tyreek Hill. He was ready for the occasion. He was ready to ball out. He was balling out through the majority of the game, through the majority of the season. Trent McDuffie has 4 forced fumbles on the year. I find it comical. I really do. He's a DB. It's like, I don't want interceptions. I'm going to lead the league in forced fumbles. We do not hear about that from a cornerback. And the fact that Trent McDuffie is doing that, the fact that he's that physical, definitely with his stature and size, the Kansas City Chiefs got a gem. And when you look at it, when people say both sides won the trade, they really did because the Chiefs got good assets out of that. And the Miami Dolphins got an explosive player that they hope leads them to something. But right now, the Kansas City Chiefs once again proved why they are made for the moment. All last week, Chiefs Kingdom, Chiefs media, NFL media was writing off this team. And when they do that, that's when you should plant your seat on this fan bus. If you jumped off the fan bus and said, oh, I don't believe in this team no more, you haven't watched this team long enough. Because when they lose and when everyone is against them, that's when they shine their best. And that's what they did in this game, specifically the defense. You have to give them high praise here because they were lights out throughout the whole game. Now, towards the end of the game, it did get shaky, but also we're going to talk about the offense because the offense put them in position to where it made it difficult on the defense. And we've seen that throughout the season. And some things need to change going into the second half of the season. But I'm not going to put blame on what the defense did even in the second half of the game. I think they played stellar for 4 quarters. And that is something you really, really love to see. But let's transition. Let's talk about it because the offense, it looked beautiful to start the game. It looked like the Kansas City Chiefs offense of old. Fast pace, get the ball out quick, move the ball down the field, and put up 7. And that's what they did to start the game. Mahomes, fast, furious, getting the ball out quick. I think he completed his first 6 or 7 passes. He had a touchdown on the initial play, called back, throws a quick screen to Rashee Rice. Touchdown, beauty. And then after that, it stalled out a little bit. It was the offense we were used to seeing throughout this year, and you're just like, what is going on? And then they found life at the end of the second quarter, and it was kind of the same as the first drive to where they were moving the ball fast, moving it downfield. I think it was another 75-yard plus drive, and Jerick McKinnon caps it off with a touchdown that put them up 14-0. And then that was before the play of the year happened, as I mentioned, which put them up 21 all at half. And the Kansas City Chiefs really had the chance to put their foot on the Miami Dolphins' throat, and they just didn't do it because going into the second half, Miami got the ball first, and they went 3 and out. And that was prime position right there. You go up 28-0. This ain't a game. Everyone loves you again. It's the respect, and they are afraid of you again. But it didn't happen. Offense continued to stall out. Miami got the ball back. They put up points. They scored. And then the Chiefs get the ball back, and Mahomes has done what Mahomes is accustomed to doing this year, unfortunately, and that is turning the ball over and giving this defense bad field position to guard, which he fumbled. Miami got it. I believe Miami got it on their 30. Now, the defense played stout. They held them. And then on 3rd down, Chris Jones had an unnecessary roughness penalty, which gave Miami 15 yards. As you weren't already giving them yards, now you're giving them more yards. And then on the very next play, Mostert breaks a run for 15, gets it to the house. We got a ball game, folks. And then from there, the Chiefs defense did their thing. That's why I don't really want to blame the defense too much because if it wasn't for a Mahomes fumble and then if it wasn't for a Jones stupid penalty, they're putting up 10 and it's 21-10 and that's a whole different game, even with bad field position. But zoning in on this offense, there was good things. There was bad things. There's definitely questions to discuss. The most alarming thing, actually the 2 most alarming things are Pacheco. Pacheco, when he was given the ball, I thought looked really, really good. And I think it's something that Coach Reed, coaching staff, needs to go into the second part of the season and realize you have a new identity on offense. And it's going to be a pride or ego to swallow here. You are a run-first football team. I don't care what it is about. You have had these wide receiver struggles, question marks all around them. But one thing is for certain. When you give Isaiah Pacheco the ball 15 plus times, you are 9-0. You run that until that doesn't exist no more because teams aren't expecting it. You need to adjust. You need to realize your quarterback is struggling and your wide receivers are struggling. And you got to play the hand that is dealt to you. And it is Isaiah Pacheco. I do not know how many times I got to say it. That grown man needs to see the ball. And I'm saying 15 times. But shoot, 20 times a game. This has got to be like an old school ground and pound where your defense is going to thug it out and you're going to run the ball. Kind of like 80s school. It really should be like that. And then once teams expect it, that really helps your receivers. That helps your quarterbacks to where, okay, they can't play two safety high. They can't play all this kind of prevent defense and just think that Mahomes is going to do all this nonsense. No, they got to respect the run. And right now they don't. And it's not because they don't respect Pacheco. It's because they know Coach Reed won't dial up the runs. And like I mentioned, yeah, Pacheco, he was getting 2, 3, 5 yards a carry. But that's beneficial. It's way better than doing a reverse or doing a stupid trick play on first or second down and you losing yards and it sets you back. This is not the same type of team to where if you lose yards, you could pick it up. They haven't done that this year. So if you run Pacheco on first down and even get you 2 yards, that's huge because that second down can become third and manageable. And when that third and manageable clicks in, you are able to throw it short or give it back to Pacheco. And that was one thing that frustrated the hell out of me that you guys saw on my live stream was how on 3rd and 1 you don't give it to that grown man. He was never tackled in the backfield in that game. And every time that initial contact made contact with him, he was pushing them forward. There is no doubt in my mind he was going to pick up that yard and he was going to seal the game. But Coach Reed, what does he do? A rollout, try to find Kelsey. Of course, that's not there. Now panic Mahomes and throws it out of bounds. And you give it back to Miami, letting them believe they really have a shot. The Chiefs have just got to be smarter. That's what it's all about. You can't be depending on what this offense has been in the past. It is time to evolve, and it is time to focus on the run. And the other thing that pissed me off heavily was Rashee Rice. And it wasn't Rashee Rice himself, because in the first quarter, he had 2 catches, one for a touchdown and one that was a beautiful wide receiver type of baller play on 3rd down where it was all hands and it was an athletic catch. Since then, nothing. And he played 41 snaps and he wasn't looked to again. What's going on? That lets me know that that could be a quarterback thing more than anything. And you've seen it. There was a play out there where Mahomes, heavily dependent on Kelsey, triple teamed, and Rashee Rice was wide open. And then he just throws it away in the flat to Pacheco towards his feet. Something's got to evolve during this bye week. It really does. Like, they got to get these wide receivers intact. Mahomes has got to get intact. This line's got to get intact. Everyone just wants to solely blame it on the wide receivers. I don't really believe that's the case. Quarterback one and coaching has a lot to do with it at this moment. If this team wants to take the next step, you got to make those uncomfortable throws. And when I mean uncomfortable, I don't mean throw it in triple coverage. I mean target someone else besides Travis Kelsey. And the number 1 guy right now is Rashee Rice. Look at him first. He's been beating his guys. If he's open, give the dude a chance too. And also, there were some nice plays made out there from guys like Sky Moore, surprisingly. He had 2 really good catches. That's something you want to see progress as well. And then we need to get over this. We really do. I know Kadarius Toney, to everyone, lost us that Detroit Lion game. But he had 1 catch in this game. A very nice catch to where he made it for a first down. He broke a few tackles, dragged a defender. He looks healthy. He needs to start getting legit wide receiver snaps. He's only getting 10 snaps a game at this point. That's not going to cut it. I understand what happened in the past. Again, you can't be afraid to live in the past. You got to trust these receivers and you got to target them. And you got to hope they make a play. Because if we're still having this same discussion going into December, these playoff teams are going to eke it out. That's why I really believe they have the answers on the team. They just have to find a way to maneuver and make sure all these pieces gel together. And honestly, it becomes an identity crisis, and you have to acknowledge, hey, let's depend on the run. If Coach Reid can do that, this offense will look immensely different. And that's what I want to see going into Philly, specifically Philly, because Philly's a really good football team. We all know that. It's the Super Bowl rematch. It's the two best teams in each conference. You know that is going to be highly advertised. But Philly's defense is not one of the best in the leagues. Their secondary struggles, and this is the time where Mahomes should be able to find a way to pick apart a defense. And if you can't do it after a bye week, which is where Coach Reid excels, those red flags, they're going to start going up, specifically for me, because you guys know I preach patience. I preach everything is going to be okay. Hey, we're back half of the season now. Something needs to click sooner rather than later, and I need to see some life from this offense, because right now, this defense is the main reason why we are 7-2. But we still got great opponents to go against. Philly, Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati Bengals. The defense can only do so much, and if Patrick Mahomes turns the ball over and the offense ain't moving, the defense ain't going to win every game. So something needs to change for this offense. But with that, Chiefs Kingdom, I am going to close this off. They didn't think we were going to go 7-2 into the bye, but here we are with a huge win over the Miami Dolphins. As we head into the back stretch of the season, we got a long season to go. It should be fun. It should be good, but you already know what to do. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you did like this video, please leave that big thumbs up. I'm checking out. Y'all take care. Peace.